Hey guys, welcome to the Mental Health Day podcast where we talk to your favorite creators about all things mental health. My name is Talia, STFU Just Be Happy, something we all want to do, but it's not that easy. Today I am with Allie Harling from Utah. She is a motivational speaker and a TikTok sensation. She helps everyone heal by telling her stories. She has people on social media who are actually saying that you saved their lives.
Yes. So fun. Love it. Love what I do.
Um, yes, today we are at Voda Spa. It's a spa, a Russian bath in West Hollywood. This podcast is filmed at Voda Spa in West Hollywood, California. One of the unique factors of Voda Spa, which is a traditional Russian bath, is that the saunas that they call banyas are much hotter and you can honestly feel them in your bones. They release all bad toxins and get any chemicals out of your body that you don't need. And also, if you'd like, they can whip you with eucalyptus, which is kind of amazing. I'm not gonna lie, it feels great. So come on down to Voda Spa when you get a chance in the heart of West Hollywood. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about suicide because I know that is kind of how you had your breakthrough. You were suicidal. Can you tell the audience, if they don't know, a little bit more about it?
My quote is from Suicidal to Successful, and it's because I was suicidal for 10 years. I attempted suicide one night when I was 17, and then I woke up the next day, found out my brother had killed himself the same night, and I was just dedicated to figuring out how to process my mental health and kind of make myself better so that I could basically show other people that it was possible. Um, and so then I did that, and now I love what I do.
Yeah. I think I resonate with you so much because, well, you're from Utah and there's not a lot of us from Utah on social media, at least not no one I know that's
Yeah.
doing well. And I think when I was younger, I was also very suicidal and I had grew this like really tough exterior, which is where I got my social media name, where it was like, shut the fuck up, just be happy. And that was like my mindset. Honestly, it got me really fucking far.
Yeah.
Like I moved across the country when I was 17. I produced conventions, but I always had this like my feelings come second.
Yeah.
We gotta get through it. We gotta like just make it through. And I think when I moved to Boston when I was 17, without a guarantor, which is really hard to do. If you don't know, guys, it's very difficult. And then I met a boy and we went to New York, and that's when I got the suicidal thoughts again. And it was very visual, and I would see them and I was really scared. No one knew about it but him. I didn't want to get help. And then we broke up. And I think that's when I started doing like the healing and going into like, I went balls in. I did like Reiki and Tai Chi in the park, and I did breath work and therapy and yoga and all this stuff. But the one thing that really changed my mindset towards like suicide was my holistic friend. She was now a holistic coach, but she said with suicide, it actually means a part of you needs to die to be who you want to be. So now, if when I get those visuals or thoughts, I always remind myself like I'm overextending myself or I'm doing something out of my boundaries and I'm not living in my core instead of being like, these are horrible thoughts. Like, how dare I? The audacity. And I'm so excited for this next generation and people like you that are just making this like a normal conversation. And I hope like schools will be able to be like, hey, I'm having bad thoughts. How can we work through this instead of being so ashamed?
And I think that that's one of like the biggest things with why people feel the way that they do sometimes is just their mentality, the way that they see the world, the things that they do every single day that's a repeating pattern. Because that's the thing is like if you're doing everything that you want to do, there's no way that you could hate who you are. And I always, one of my like biggest pieces of advice is like treat yourself as if you are your own best friend. You would never go up to your best friend and say like you look ugly today or like you look fat, you look a certain type of way or you're not smart enough, you're not good enough. You would never walk up to your best friend and say that. So why are you looking in the mirror and saying it to yourself? And that was one of the biggest pieces of things or one of the biggest pieces of advice that I could give is that it's just treat yourself as if you are your own best friend because you should love yourself. You should want to be friends with yourself. And if you don't, then you need to change some things. And I think that's just a healthy way to think. I don't know.
Yeah, you're not going anywhere. Like you're stuck with you forever. Like this is it. So what are some tips or tricks that you could give people who are dealing with those thoughts?
One of the biggest things that helped me was just when I was having like anxiety attacks, something that would like really help me in the moment was counting colors. So it's like if I see, like, you just count how many red things that you can see in the room or green things, or you just count colors and it keeps you really present. This was actually something that I learned in therapy. It was like one of the, yeah, it was like one of the only things I learned in therapy because I would show up and just like, man, don't care. I don't want to be here when I was like 17 because I had a really hard time like wanting to help myself and I felt like I wasn't really worthy of help. I felt like I just like didn't deserve to be happy and then I finally was like whatever, I don't care. So I finally put effort into trying to get better and so counting colors was something that helped me in the moment because anxiety is stemmed from thinking about the future and depression is stemmed by thinking about the past. So, if you're just present all the time, it's going to make it a lot easier to not really feel that way. And so, counting colors was a good one. You just use your five senses. So, you can do like if you close your eyes and you like, because my biggest thing was anxiety in school. So I couldn't really just like go exert energy for like my anxiety during class. So I had to like learn these little things that would just help me so that I could still stay like where I was at, but it would help me in the moment. So that was one of my biggest things.
That's a cool one. I've never heard of colors. I used to have to like when the teacher was talking, I'd have to like mouth what she was saying because I couldn't focus. So like anything they'd say, I'd just be like, right, 2 + 2 is like 4.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's a cool one. So subconscious beliefs is a very popular topic. Everyone's talking about it. I do think there's so much power in it though. Did you do any kind of specific thing to like overcome your subconscious beliefs?
Um, Not anything in specific. I think there was just a few I would write down like in a notebook, like every bad thing that I ever did and kind of just go over every like why I acted the way that I did, why I felt the way that I did and just analyzed every part of my life, every part of my brain and just really like dissected myself and got to know myself really well. And so that was like something and just talking nicely to myself and um just learning different things of why I do the things that I do and what I could do differently next time so that I didn't either react in a certain way and just realizing that I can't control the situations that happen around me. The only thing that I can control is my reactions to those things. And so, and just not staying in a victim mentality. Like things aren't happening to me, they're happening for me. And like, I mean, it just is like a thing where it's like if I didn't go through 10 years of being suicidal, I wasn't depressed for super long, my brother didn't die, if like all these things didn't happen, I wouldn't have a career. I probably wouldn't even be alive if these things didn't happen. And although they sucked in the moment and like you see them as a negative in the moment, it is leading you to something that's bigger. So you just have to like trust that everything is going to happen, everything's going to be fine, and you've been placed in hard situations before and you've always made it out on the other side and you've been just fine no matter what. And so just trusting that that is a repeating pattern helps a lot.
And and off camera, you talked about how your emotions are very strategic. I think that's fascinating. Can you go more into that?
So I'm just I don't know. I have a like a weird thing with like my emotions. I think through things first. That's why I don't like to speak out of turn or like I really like to like when I get in arguments with people or like little things pop up, I really just like to think about it and I don't like to be on my own side. I am very middleman with myself in my situations because everyone makes mistakes, everyone's human, everyone says things that they don't mean sometimes and being able to forgive people who say those things to you and forgive yourself for saying those things to other people um is something that just has helped me battle with my emotions a little bit and like figure out that they're picking your battles is something that I've really had to learn because I used to just be mad at everything. I was a fighter as a teenager. I was like bad. Like I was people looked at me the wrong way. It was like not happening. And now I'm like chilled out a lot and like I've done things I can never take back and like those are the things that I'm like doing my best to correct now, but I knew that I needed to change because I couldn't live my life like that forever. And I didn't like the person that I was, so how could I expect anyone else to like me? And so I just needed to change my mindset and that came with understanding that people are going to make mistakes and that I have to be able to control what I can control, which is myself and my reactions to things. And that's like a thing too with like relationship advice even is like if like no nobody wants to be with someone who's just like pissed off all the time and like mad and gets mad and isn't forgiving and like being able to understand your emotions will help every single part of your life. And so that's why the biggest thing that I suggest if you're like wanting to work on something is work on controlling your emotions and being able to be patient with yourself. And if you slip up every once in a while, it's okay, but just like learning how to find the balance in your emotions, I think.
I love that. I do want to give one subconscious belief, like thing that I do, just if it helps anyone, it'd be great. So I was dealing with horrible thoughts, and eventually I still was not like having a breakthrough, I was just like in a bad space. And I actually started recording things I wanted to believe about myself and falling asleep to it. And it affects your subconscious mind. My whole thing was I had a bad memory too, so I don't remember the names of the different levels of the mind, but it's like meta, dream state, or like the one right before you fall asleep. And it actually ended up giving me like a breakthrough to a memory in my past. And then we ended up working on it in therapy. But I do think like recording things you want to believe about yourself and falling asleep to it will help you like break through subconscious beliefs if you have really strong ones that you can't get rid of. So, not only are you a motivational speaker and a TikTok sensation, you also have an eyelash line. And I want to talk to you more about like your business mindset, how you got into business, what was your first business? Tell me about all about it.
So I knew that I wasn't capable of working a 9 to 5 because my mental health was just not there. I like to take a lot of naps, and so I was like, okay, this is not gonna work. And I also don't like being told what to do. I have ODD too, so that's basically I just have a big problem with authority and being told what to do. So I was like, okay, I need to figure out a way to like make money on my own and be self-employed. So when I was 17, I started doing social media a lot more and built a business, and that one was called Harsh Label. It was a bikini and fitness brand. And that's like when I first got into business. And I'd gone out to like Arizona with some of my friends, and like they were all like 18, 19 and just had like millions of dollars. And I was like, "How are you guys doing this?" And they were like they wouldn't tell me what they were like how they made all their money, and I was like, okay, so after like 2 weeks of me being like, guys, just tell me what you do. Like, I just need to know. And they were like, fine, I'll give you like 30 minutes. I'll teach you like the basics, but after that, like, you're on your own. And I was like, okay. So he got on a 30-minute phone call with me and he was like, okay, this is all I'm giving you. Because they were so used to like teaching people how to do it. And then people would give up on it or like, it was just like a waste of their time to teach people at that point. So I was like, okay. So I started getting into business like that, started a few different businesses, tried out different things. I started with like drop shipping and like now I'm into my actual business where I buy in bulk, sell. But so this is like my favorite business because it's all mine, it's all custom. It's called Whiplash, and it's just a lash company. But he actually, it was funny when my friend that taught me how to do business called me like a year ago, and he's like, I'm actually really proud of you. Like, I thought you were gonna like not follow through with this, and he's like, but you've fully made like businesses work. And he was like, if you ever like want to get into real estate, let me know because that's like what he's getting into now. So, which is actually one that I want to get into later on. But right now, I'm happy with my little business. But yeah.
So it started with drop shipping
Yep.
and then you got into eyelashes. Okay, great. And I remember you saying you had a business when you were younger. Was that the business drop shipping when you were 14?
Not when I was 14. I started social media when I was 14,
Oh, okay.
but I started business when I was
Okay, and with this business, do you have like a community or a team helping you, or is it all just solo?
Um, I just hired an assistant who is helping me. Yes. So she runs my whole life, which is what I've like needed for years. But I always believe that like if you want it done right, you do it yourself. So I've just done everything myself up until like a month or two ago. And so now she's like kind of helping me with all of it. But other than that, it's been solo with just me. But
And how important is your community to you, to your, like your whole lifestyle, your healing process? Did you drop friends to get new friends when you started becoming a different person?
absolutely. That was like one of the biggest things that I had to do. And a lot of people will be like, well, they're family, well, they're like this, whatever. I don't care. If you're toxic to me, you're toxic to me. I don't want like, and that's just part of knowing like what you're worth and like, life is too short to be treated like shit. That's what I've always said. And so it's just not worth having people in your life that are gonna either try and dictate your life or the way that they want you to do things, or they're just discouraging you, and every time you have good news it's like they find a way to bring it down. It's just those type of people don't have I don't have room for those people because there's so many amazing people in the world that are like willing to just help you, and those are the people that you wanted to like that you want to be friends with or have in your life is the people that motivate you to want to do better. Because I always say that if you hang out with five losers, you'll be the sixth. Or if you hang out with five successful people, you will be the sixth. You literally are who you surround yourself with. And so people who are just holding on to things, whether it's a relationship, a friendship, family, if you're holding on to things that are dragging you down or don't make you feel like you're important or listened to, or it's just it will impact your whole life. So that's why even in like schools with like junior high, high school, it's important to find friends and not fall down a place because I don't know, it's just the people that surround you are the most important thing to your success, I think. But
I love that. How did you find the right people? Was it from Impact, or how did you end up finding, what did you meet them through TikTok or social media?
so I don't even know how I meet people anymore. Mainly social media, but I also keep my circle very small usually, just because it's really hard to find people that are good people all the time. And so, and I feel like I just have a certain type of mindset that is hard to match for some people, or some people my age aren't there yet. So all my friends are like over 30. I don't have really any friends that are like my age. I'm 22. So, um, I just think very differently than I used to. And so it's hard for me to like relate to people who don't think the same way. Um, so social media, people who do the same things I do have like the same interests. But yeah, mainly TikTok. Most of my friends were followers of mine on TikTok before. And then they were like, let's hang out. Yeah. And then they would just be like, let's hang out. And I was like, yeah. So, yeah. So that's how I met most of my friends. But
All right, we're gonna end with some rapid fire. So your comfort. So you ready? Okay, get close. Okay. Comfort food,
chicken Alfredo,
comfort place,
um, Las Vegas,
comfort book,
men love bitches,
comfort activity,
sleeping,
comfort clothing,
sweats and hoodie,
go to comfort person.
Blake.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching and listening to the Mental Health Day podcast. We are so grateful to have you. Subscribe, like, slide into our DMs for what questions you want answered on our Mental Health Day podcast, and we will see you next time.